Good morning and welcome to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Ekpo Temple. On today's edition of the show, River Super's coach optimistic of improved performance in BAL. NSC outlines President Tinubu's new sports mandate to federations. And in football, Saka Brace sinks Monaco as Arsenal I Champions League last 16. Details of this and many more will be yours shortly after now. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Emmanuel Michael here is in the studio. Mike, welcome and welcome back, and I'm so glad to get to see you in the studios.
Thank you very much, Tempo. I think it was a very good 2 days for me, and I'm very, very happy and refreshed to be back here.
Of course, you know how December is. Well structured, well patterned, and a lot of activities, expectations. And first of all, let me ask you, how has it been? I mean, the Yuletide period for you. It looks more like it started earlier than expected, but it is here now.
Yeah, here now finally, but then a lot is going on there in the market. I actually took our time yesterday to go through the prices of things in the market. I tell you, it's not an easy thing. A bag of rice now is about 100 and something thousand naira, something that you literally buy for 1,000 right now. Right now it is about 2,500. So I think it's going to be a very, very difficult Yuletide period for so many people out there. But then that is not to take away the fact that at least it's still joy, because it is the celebration of Christ Jesus, and we are still very much happy.
Of course, let's get to see how far. In the sporting world, news popping every day, like every day. And so, trust us here, we expect to bring you all the best and the latest popping out from that arena. And we're never tired to bring you the beautiful stories you can ever think of here on Atlantic Television Network. But first off, this morning, we start with basketball. Our Rivers Super head coach, Ogo Daudu, has stated that they are going to continue from where they left off in the last edition. The Nigerian representative was a big revelation in this year's edition of the competition. Only missed the final Mare Whisker, and the Hoopers qualified for the competition with victory over Lagos-based Hoops and Reed 71-54 to claim this year's MBBF final. You heard him. He said they're going to take one more step to see if they can get to the finals, and that would be very impressive. From what they have done, expectations will be high to get to see them do so well come next bar season.
Yeah, of course, expectation will be high because of their last outing, because of their last performance, finishing third in the last edition. I think for me, it is only natural that you go one step, forward from your previous achievement, and that shows progress, that shows consistency for me. And if there's anything to go by, you ask yourself, do they really have what it takes to go one step better than their last outing? Of course, yes. It's a big year because we saw their impressive display in the Nigerian basketball championship right here that took place, just few weeks ago, where they were crowned champion. They successfully defended the title they won last time. And so for me, I think they are prime in a better position to go out there and surpass their previous record, owing to the fact that at least they've garnered experience in their last outing, which they finished third. This one is going to be more like a familiar ground for them this time around to be able to make a very big leap. And if you ask me, I think they have what it takes, because we've seen that indeed the Commissioner of Sports in the state, talking about Barrister Christopher Green, is one man who truly loves basketball. He invests so much to ensure that at least Rivers Hoopers, are the best when it has to do with the continent of Africa, because right now it's beyond Nigeria, because they have actually conquered the Nigerian league as it is. So the next step is to take it much higher, finishing third in the Basketball African League last time out, going back, qualifying again for the second edition. I think for me it's going to be a more bigger achievement, because I know that they will certainly surpass their previous record. So if there's anything to go by what Ogo Daudu has said, I tell you, we'll be very, very happy to see them get to the final and possibly win it, because there are two things. If you finish third last edition, this time around is possibly to get to the final. And if you get to the final, who said you cannot win it if you get to the final? So I'm very, very happy and very, very anticipations of the fact that Ogo Daudu is also thinking in the direction of so many basketball followers out there.
Thinking in the direction of so many basketball followers out there, and of course we get to see how far you can start preparation. And that means if you want to start preparation, it is now. You don't wait till next year. You just start putting through your thoughts and everything that will make you achieve those success.
Exactly. This is where you get to show that indeed you want to go out there and make a point. You don't just wait, or you coil back into your cocoon waiting for you to go out there and do magic. Especially when the competition approaches, you have to start preparing on time. And this is where most African teams get it wrong. This is where most, organizations get it wrong because they want to follow the fire brigade approach. You want to wake up, and just think you can go there and defeat other people and become champion. It doesn't work out there, and that is why most time you see the Nigerian Olympic team will go out there without achieving much result because we wait until 1 month or 2 months before Olympic or even the Commonwealth game. That is where we begin to put up a top-notch preparation. But over there in the other, Sena climb where things are done the way it ought to be, they start preparation 3 years, 4 years before time. That is where they come to the Olympic, they rack up medals. Countries like Great Britain, France, United States of America, Canada, China, they start preparation 4 years, 5 years down the line. And there is no way you can start preparation 4 years, 3 years down the line, and you are not expected to go out there and perform better than someone who just started preparation 2 months before, such a mondial. So for me, early preparation is key if you want to achieve a, success this time around.
Early preparation is key if you want to achieve success, and you heard it from Mike, yeah. And away from that, Nigeria's champion, Mountain of As a Miracle women basketball team have been knocked out of this year's Women's Basketball Africa after losing all their 3 games played so far. The Nigerian champions fell to FAB of Cameroon 62-60 to bow out of this year's Women's Basketball League. Senegal, in Dakar, Senegal, where the competition is ongoing. This comes after losing their first 2 matches against Al Ahly of Egypt, 95-49, and the ASC Ville the Dakar of Senegal, 57-54. And for me, I don't think it's I think it's very, very appalling the way they have just lost this encounter, bowing out from this competition. One would have expected them to go a little bit far,
Honestly, I feel it's not sensational at all for MFM. I expected them to go out there and do us proud. Taking a look at the fact that at least they've actually dominated the Nigerian Women Basketball League right here. I thought maybe they were at least the team that was going to go out there and do us proud in this maiden edition. And I think I'm very, very disappointed. It clearly tells you one thing, that the quality of our female league here is nothing to be compared with what we see in Senegal, what we see in Egypt, because don't forget that Senegal and Egypt, they are one of the powerhouses when we talk about basketball right here in Africa. So if our league is not able to compete at the highest level with that of Al Ahly, with that of Senegalese team, it clearly tells you that indeed we have a lot to improve in terms of our league. Because if we are having MFM as the best team in the league here, going to the continent, they could not even win a single match. They have already been knocked out even before their last game. It clearly tells you one thing, that the quality of our league is not good, and therefore we need to improve the quality of our league so that we can be able to compete against the likes of teams from Senegal, teams from Algeria, teams from even Cameroon per se. So I think for me, not a good one, not a sensational one for MFM. A lot needs to be done in the league in order for us to improve and also continue to make waves in the continent of Africa.
Make waves in the continent of Africa. The International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF, has announced the appointment of the president of the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation, Mr. Tikon Ishaku, 8 other nationals as its new nominations committee for the period from now to 2026. The committee, which was appointed during the ITTF Executive Board meeting in Chengdu, China on December 9th, is tasked with identifying and nominating candidates for various ITTF positions. This seems to be a good one, but we hope to get to see how far they can deliver their mandate.
Exactly, it's a good one, but not about just being nominated as a member of the ITTF. It's about bringing the glad tidings to the Nigerian Tennis Federation. Can he be able to, make his way through and bring the needed dividend back here? These are the big questions. Sometimes you see some of our, Nigerians in different categories being nominated or occupying one different sensitive position or the other in terms of African, games here, in terms of the development of the games, in terms of the improvement of sport, but then they don't really bring the needed dividend from that position that they are occupying back, home. So for me, this is what I intend. This is what I hope to see this time around, that he can be able to bring the glad tidings, the good news, the good tidings that is up there and bring it back home so that we can also benefit from it, because the essence of we having somebody, having a representative out there is to make sure that what is due to us is properly brought back to home, because they are the person, they are the one that is going to fight for what is due to us. Because if you keep quiet, you look as though you don't have any representative. So for me, this is what I intend to see, that you be able to bring the needed succor and catharsis back to Nigerian Tennis Federation.
And of course, Jack Draper has cancelled his planned training week with Carlos Alcaraz because of a little bit of a negos in his hip. The British #1 was due in Spain to train with the Wimbledon champion next week, but is limited to gym work at the moment. Draper is in the Great Britain team, which will contest the United Cup from 27th of December, but is not yet sure whether he will be fit to play. The Australian Open starts in Melbourne on the 12th of January, and Draper says that this injury is different to the hip problem that troubled him at the start of 2023, but it comes at an irritating time for the 22-year-old. He has risen to 15th in the world after winning ATP titles in Stuttgart and Vienna, and show much greater resistance to injury this year. Injury can be a problem when it comes to year end or start of the year, and this is not the best time, like I earlier read out.
Honestly, not the best time. Injury, not a best time any day, any time. Not even a time that injury has been a best time for any player out there. I think, injury, takes you 2 steps backward from your later stage or improvement. So I think it's a very disappointing one, because when injury sets in, you need to take a lot of time for you to be able to recover properly and get fit, to challenge for any championship out there. So having injury at this point in time is not a good one, especially January will just be around the corner after December. We'll just have a few days before this year is wrapped up, and January comes to a lot of championship, a lot of activity, you set rolling, and you are there out injured or probably coming back from injury. You cannot be 100% fit, so injury is a very bad one, and I just feel for Jack Draper.
Just for Jack Draper. Meanwhile, transgender women will no longer be allowed to play in some female domestic tennis and paddle tournaments in Britain. The LTA is updating its transgender and non-binary participation policy, but this will not affect entry into Wimbledon or ITF, WTA or ATP tournament stage in the UK. The policy applies solely to British domestic interclub competitions, and the rule for tour events will continue to be set by the relevant bodies from January 25th. Transgender women who are recorded male at birth will not be eligible to compete in female events in higher graded competition, which usually involve individuals taking on players from another club or country. And some of we've thought, this rule has always been there, but it looks like as for its effect, they might just be affecting its next year, which of course will limit a lot of them from taking part.
Yeah, I think it's been a very big cry from so many different sports angle. Down from football to athletics, we heard of the whole, controversy surrounding some of these transgenders out there. So I think it's quite a nice one, a wise decision for them to be able to separate this and say, okay, you're a transgender, you are not allowed to take part in such competition. Or it's a nice one. Let's hope they are going to implement it to the fullest, and let's see what comes up of that. I know certainly there are some persons out there that will also cry foul because of this, but then I think the authority have decided to do a certain line which makes it even more clearer. If you're a transgender, you need to know that you are not going to take part in so competition, so that you get to be aware and acquainted with the rules, so that when you get there, it shouldn't be like a surprise for you to say, oh, I'm trying to make a case right now, why should they bar me from not taking part just because of the fact that I'm a... So I think these rules makes it explicitly clear that if you're a transgender, you are not allowed to take part in so competition, so that you know it from the onset, so that you don't come and blame the authority. And for me, I think it's a nice way to go.
A nice way to go. Let's see how far it goes. And one thing very striking is that we want to do our best to ensure that this is achieved. Nigeria secured the opportunity to host the 2026 edition of the prestigious All-African Challenge Trophy. A total number of 38 countries submitted their intentions to host the championship, but only 20 of them reached the final stage. Nigeria dumped out 19 countries to secure the hosting rights at the expense of more established countries. This will be the third time Nigeria is hosting the championship, having hosted in 1996 and 2010. Golf is one thing that well, it's common these days because of the way the federations are all building up momentum, from the different arenas.
Yeah, I think I'm very, very proud, very happy to see that the activity or some championship emanating from the world of golf is going to be staged right here in the country. I think it clearly tells you that we are making progress as long as golf is concerned, though not one of the popular sports right here in this part of the climb, but then we've seen the activities of Nigerian Golfers Association in the last 2 years right now. I think they'll be very active in trying to organize maybe 1 or 2 mini competition out there, trying to improve the course of the game right here in the country. I think for me, I'm pretty much happy. Let's hope that we can continue to maintain this zeal, this same template, this same quest to ensure that we improve the course of the game, talking about golf right here, so that at least, if not in the world, but in Africa, when you talk about golf in Africa, Nigeria should be mentioned as one of the best playing golf nation right here in Africa. Not just golf alone, we see other relatively unknown games that is also gaining ground, getting attention. Games like fencing, we are here in Nigeria. After the qualifier that they're about to host right here, they might possibly host the 2026 fencing championship, which some of their delegates will be right here in the country to supervise some of the games that will be ongoing right here. So I think for me, it's a very big leap. It looks as though we are beginning to see a new leaf in terms of sport improvement generally, not just focusing or center all our focus on football and basketball. Maybe I think it is going to be a wise decision if you can be able to improve in all of these games, especially the relatively unknown games. I think it's going to do us better. We'll get to the African Championship of Nigeria. Thumbs up for them, but then to whom much is given, much is also expected. We need to also continue this fire burning so that it doesn't just be because of the fact that, oh, we have new National Sport Commission on board and the man will be trying to put his eyes on ground to see how the activities of sport is faring, and you want to wake up just because you are the head man and you want to do an eye service to say, oh, the chairman of National Sport Commission, so that you get that recognition of favor. No, it shouldn't be. We should continue with this quest and zeal of trying to improve the course of sport development right here in the country, and that is going to serve us well.
That's going to serve us well, and of course, the Ogun State government has rewarded exceptional athletes who represented the state at the National Youth Games in Asaba. Delta State with over 7 million naira as motivation, reiterating its commitment to sports development. Abiodun gave the assurance on Wednesday while presenting the checks to the athletes, reiterating its readiness to nurture them to enviable heights. The gold medalists were presented with a check of 300,000, the silver medalists with 200,000, and the bronze medalists 100,000. While immediately past the director of sports, Ms. Oluwatoyin Alade, was given a sum of 500,000 in recognition of her commitment, to the development of the young athletes. Presented by Commissioner of Sports, Wasiu Ishake, Governor Abiodun attributed the success recorded during the games and other competition to his administration's resolve to take sports back to the grassroots. The governor revealed that his administration intends to use the National Sports Festival to lay a solid foundation for sports in the state, especially the school and grassroots sports.
Yeah, it's a good one for me, a good gesture. Though you may say that this money is not good enough as a reward system for some of them that went out there and did the state proud, but then at least it is something other than giving them nothing. Other than giving them just a handshake, I think it's also very necessary. They are being rewarded financially so as to also encourage them in their next outing to represent the state. And for Dakwa Abiodun, I think the man is sport friendly because he's one man who truly loves to support the development and the improvement of sport generally. And this is why he's doing everything possible in order to ensure that he encourages some of the sportsmen and women back there in Ogun State so as for them to continue to bring home laurels. Don't forget, they will be hosting the next national youth games out there, and of course tag the gateway games is going to be another motivating factor for some of the sportsmen and women, having known that, these are the people that went to represent the state in the last edition, and they are coming back home and they are being rewarded. Even as they are about to host the next edition, it's going to be a very big motivation for some of the sportsmen and women out there, knowing fully well that if you go out there and do the state proud, you go home with a huge chunk of money, and that is a motivating factor for some of the athletes.
It's a motivating factor for some of the athletes, and let's see how far that goes. And let's wrap up the first phase of the show with the National Sports Commission has unveiled President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's new mandate aimed at transforming Nigeria's sports into a sustainable sports economy. The detailed vision unveiling was led by the leadership of the NLC during a strategic meeting with presidents and secretaries of various sports federations on Tuesday in Abuja. The meeting marked the first official engagement between the NLC, Chairman Malanshe Udiko, and the Director General Honorable Bukola Olapade, with federation leaders following institutional changes in Nigerian sports sector. Malanshe Udiko emphasized that the shared vision between the NLC and sports federation, stressing the importance of partnership in driving growth and sustainability in Nigerian sports. It further revealed ongoing plans to establish a National Sports Development Fund and National Sports Infrastructure Board through legislative act. These structures are expected to provide a solid financial and infrastructural foundation to support sports development across the country.
I think it's a nice one, but since Mr. President came on board, and since there have been a lot of reshufflement in different departments, especially as regard to do with sports, many people, when they wake up, they will say, "Oh, Mr. President Ahmed Tinubu hopes to do this. These are his vision. These are his objective in the sports sector. All of this and that." I think we should, stand down on some of these, eulogies and trying to walk the walk. Sometimes not necessarily Mr. President coming out to outline some of those projects. It's just the people, the head men, trying to project the image of Mr. President. Sometimes Mr. President is not even aware, because a lot are on his bulk, are on his table. Let's just be honest with ourselves for once. Mr. President has a lot to do in his desk as regards the economy of this state.
But it's possible that okay, if the blueprint is what they feel can help sports to go, let's sell it to whosoever that is the intermediary between them and president. They tell them, so to them, to president, whatever you do that will develop sport, do it. I back you. Maybe that comment alone covers for some of these things.
Exactly, but then that is not to also shove away the fact that most of them who just came into office, that are just appointed in one or two different positions, they just want to use that as a platform to herald what they intend to do in the name of Mr. President did this, and Mr. President want to do this. Sometimes they just want to use that as a platform to sell themselves. That is just the truth. But sometimes we don't say this in board. We need to say it as it is. Mr. President, he has a special advisor to sport-related issue, no doubt. Sometimes the National Sports Commission chairman doesn't even interface with Mr. President one-on-one, but because of the blueprint that he has in hand, maybe take it to Mr. President's special advisor on sport, take a look at it. After some weeks, he receives the feedback, but he will come to tell the public that this is what Mr. President intends to do and all of that. I'm not against the fact that, okay, you have a lofty ideas that you want to improve the course of sport development in the country, and you want to ride on the heels of Mr. President to say, oh, this is the intent and position of Mr. President. Fine, it is good, but then let us just back down on some of this eulogy to Mr. President and actually do what is needed so that we can achieve results. Because at the end of the day, you say Mr. President did this, Mr. President want to do this. At the end of 4 years, we don't achieve anything positive. The people that you have sold this idea will fall back to Mr. President to begin to blame Mr. President. Say, oh, when you came on board, say you were going to do this and going to do that. Yet, nothing tangible has come. So, what am I saying in essence is that, in as much as it's good for us to, some of these office holders ride on the heels of Mr. President, intention of sport development, we must, as a matter of must, as an individual, do that thing that we know it is right, that can improve the course of sport development in the country.
All right, we're going on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be preparing to wrap up as we talk more football matters and the UEFA Champions League games played yesterday. All right, welcome back. It's time to wrap up conversation about, let's just talk the UEFA Champions League and then we'll close up for the day. We saw how Arsenal, disembarked Monaco yesterday at the Emirates, and a lot of person we talking tough. Arsenal looks very formidable right now. We saw the way they, Monaco really played a very good football. I mean, the first half was wonderful. I saw the way they came all out attacking the young bloods, and somehow they capitulated. Arsenal, used their armory, to get them down in the second half and dispatch them. And with that, now they are sure of hopefully picking the ticket to the next round. Yeah,
it was an impressive display from Arsenal, but not a bad one for Monaco, who gave a good account of themselves. They actually destabilized Arsenal, especially in the first half of the game, not giving them the breathing space, that time for them to caress the ball as they ought to normally. So, but then, just like you said, they capitulated at some point of the game, when they allowed Bukayo Saka to open the scoring, and the rest, they say, is history. So, because of that, Arsenal right now in a better position to make it through, or to even become the first 8 teams that will qualify for the round of 16.
When we come back, we have the results of games played and across various centers yesterday. Manchester City lost, and that's another talking point altogether, Mike.
A very disappointing one. In fact, a lot is going. It's a lot of permutation, a lot of indices, a lot of side talks, a lot of speculation regarding the future of the man. Talking about Pep Guardiola, Joseph Salah, who has also made his intention clear that maybe, just maybe after this, maybe eyeing of coaching a national team. But let's see what happens. Maybe in the evening we'll have more time to dwell on that.
Even if we have more time to dwell on that, but right now we will pack our bags now and leave the studio. Many thanks to you for being part of the conversation this morning on Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. Mike will be back again, and of course we'll have more interaction for you. Until then, have a lovely day and the start of trouble. It's one game, football without violence. Ekpo Temple is my name. Bye-bye.